Hello, welcome on this glorious and amazing day. There isn't a human being that walks the face of the planet that hasn't made a mistake, that hasn't had something embarrassing happen to them, or most of us, even a sexual occurrence when we were younger, when we were children, teens, or adults. Yet there's an illusion, there is this idea that we have that if we do not accept ourselves, or if we will be upset at ourselves, or if we will punish ourselves, or if we will always let other people go before ourselves, that idea, that mistake, that situation of our childhood or of our teen years will be cleansed, will be clean. And as a result, the self-bashing will be helpful for the shame, it will be helpful for the guilt, and it will be helpful for the sin. I shall be blunt, as I usually am, and to me, that's an analogy. I would use that analogy to someone that was busy looking at his phone and didn't realize that he went off the paved road. And after a very rainy few days, he ended up with his beautiful garments, or with her beautiful garments, ended up walking through a puddle, a muddy puddle. And only after they got through the puddle did they notice that their legs and their pants and their skirt is all muddy. The simple solution that every human being would know is to step out and to say, we realize we went somewhere we didn't want to go. It's not a place anyone wants to go. We feel uncomfortable. Our socks are all wet. Our shoes are ruined. Maybe not ruined, but they're dirty. And the first thing we do is we want to get it cleaned or go home to get it clean. Could you imagine a human being, after it happens to them, they begin to run around and splash in the puddle and to keep on going in circles and yelling at themselves, I do not understand. Why would I want to do this? What, am I stupid or something? Would I not know where there's a puzzle? And the self-hate talk and the self-bashing just continues. And with every splash and every step, more and more of their garments get dirty. I know logically that doesn't make sense to you, but that to me is equivalent. If someone made a mistake, or if you were touched inappropriately at a child and you feel dirty and you feel shameful and you feel guilt, or you touched someone else, or you did things that you're not comfortable in your life as an adult, for you to consciously or subconsciously say, I really don't deserve, I really shouldn't be getting this, I know what I did and no one else does, and you have this self-bashing, to me, it's equivalent to the analogy I gave, that you keep on running in the mud. Not only will that not take off the original mud and dirt, you will just continually increase all that mud and dirt. Ironically, if you're one of those millions of people doing it to yourself, or someone does it to themselves, you will notice that their life does not become a better life. It's not after 2 months of self-bashing that you notice these people become happier, they feel cleaner, they feel less shame and hate. Again, go back to the analogy. When you go in the circles and just splash in the mud, you're getting filthier and filthier. And sadly, those people get more depressed and deeper depressed, and you have people just walking away from them. Friends that would be friends for them for so many years just end up walking away from them because you don't want to be really around someone that's self-bashing or sees things negative. And because they're self-bashing, not only their own personal life becomes negative, but their outlook towards life is negative too. So if someone gets excited about something good that is going to happen, they go, yeah, we're always promised stuff, but not necessarily does it happen. Or if someone would give them a compliment, they would go, yeah, cute, thanks for the flattery. And if you notice to yourself and to all those people that fall into your category, it just gets worse and worse because you're still running in the mud. And every time you run in the mud, there's another splash, there's another part of the mud that keeps on covering more and more of your clothing, your hands, and even your face. and splashing more and more will not get anything off. On the contrary, you will go deeper and deeper, and as I said, some people fall even to a deep depression and have a very, very tough time in life. And then it's self-fulfilled prophecy is, I'm bad, and therefore, not only the original thought was, at the beginning was, I don't deserve good, but now it seems like God agrees with me, and God doesn't give me good because anything I try or anything I attempt to do right actually goes wrong. So it seems like God actually agrees with me, and God is cleaning me. God is cleansing me from that sin or that mistake or that situation when I was a child. A few months ago, God threw in a thought into my mind that I would like to share with you. I really love it. It just sits with me. If it sits with you, great. If it doesn't, use another one. Most people will tell you, let go and move on, let go, move on. But you can't, because your brain tells you to punish yourself, and you have this illusion you're feeling better. I won't tell you to let go. I won't even tell you to forgive yourself, but I will explain to you, and I will share with you the thought that came to me. What does the word forgive mean? Now, sadly, in many Christian circles, they push the concept of forgiving, and they tell you it's good for your soul, and they basically sometimes almost even force you to do it. Many people do it with their mouth, and some with a quarter of their heart, but later on they're really unhappy with what they did because they're still angry and upset about the person that hurt them. So I personally did a lot of thinking for many hours about the concept about forgive, how it works. And this thought entered my mind that the word forgive is actually two words. Forgive is the two words of forgive. So the two words for forgive is for, give. This is not something for you. This is not something for you to hold on to. This is not something for you to keep. If you have dirt on you, instead of figuring out whose fault is it, whose fault it's not, there's one objective here. We want to get the dirt off our bodies, off our clothes. If there's a mistake that you made, if you hurt someone, someone hurt you, you touched someone, someone touched you, it happened. That was the action. Now it's all about to forgive. You take this toxic feeling that to me is equivalent to a virus for a computer, and you forgive. In general, when we think about forgiveness, we think, oh, we're going to forgive the person, we're going to let them off the hook. And that's why most human beings do not want to forgive. I'm not going to let him get him off the hook. I'm going to hold on to grudge, like as if when you hold on to the grudge, they're sort of tied up to a pole. The only one that's actually tied up to the pole is yourself. Because when we hold a grudge, we're holding on to the virus, and it's going to affect our computer, it's going to affect our soul, it's going to affect our mind. Forgiving does not mean that you're going to forgive and tell the person it's okay what you did, I forgive you. It's as if it never happened. The other person, if someone hurt you, that's their issue, how they're going to deal with it. Forgive means that you don't want to carry all of this on you. All of this in you, actually, because if you hold a grudge on someone else, you're actually getting hurt the entire time. Every second of the day, and even when you sleep, you are actually getting hurt because you're holding on to this grudge. It's almost like someone putting in a virus into your computer, and you go, oh my gosh, this is terrible, how did they do it? And someone tells you, well, I could, in a few minutes, get rid of the virus. You go, no. Well, just let them get away with it? And you sit there by your laptop or by your computer for day after day, week after week, month after month, and you talk to your friends, you keep on calling them on WhatsApping them, and you FaceTime them, and you talk about this virus. Meanwhile, you're not living, not with yourself, not with your family, you're not living with your job. You stopped life because you're busy talking about this virus. This person could have gotten rid of the virus from your computer in minutes, and you would be free. Just like when we forgive others, we want to get rid of the grudge, we want to get rid of the toxic feeling, we want to get rid of something that doesn't belong in our soul. If you believe you made a big mistake, all right, I don't think you made a big mistake, but if you believe you made a big mistake, if you believe you have committed a very big sin, it's time for you to be unconditional to yourself and not say, oh, it doesn't matter. Forgive. Get rid of this toxic shame, this guilt, this behavior, and let go. I will tell you the exact same thing. If you are standing in the mud and you go, oh my gosh, how did I do it? I'll say, if you don't mind, just step out of the mud for a moment. And they go, regardless of how it happened, do you want to get rid of the mud now? It doesn't matter if someone pushed you. It doesn't matter if you deliberately went in there. It doesn't matter if you didn't notice because you were busy on your phone doing a lot of stuff. What's your objective now? Do you want to get rid of this mud? Of course I do. Do you want to be clean? Of course I do. All right, so go clean it up. That is forgive. This mud is not here to stay. This mud is here to forgive. So I know this is a very different way of thinking, and I'm not telling you just move on, because the reason why all of us did bash ourselves, did not forgive ourselves, did hold on to that, because in a way we sort of loved ourselves and we wanted to feel good about ourselves. So subconsciously, without even making this conscious decision, we thought, okay, if we bash ourselves, if we'll be last in line, if we won't ask for love, if we won't ask for a compliment, if we won't ask for a connection, if we won't ask for recognition, if we won't ask for existence, if we won't ask for validation, if we won't ask for anything in the world, our souls will be cleansed. And in reality, the contrary is absolutely true. And I'll conclude with a little story. It happened with me. When I was about 10, 11, I stood over an overpass where cars and trucks were passing by, and in my hand I held a whole bunch of rocks, and it was my goal to aim it on the window of the windshield of that car. For years and years, I did not forgive myself. For years and years, I don't even know the damage that I did. I don't know if someone got a heart attack because of it. I don't know what type of damage I did to how many cars. Did I get it? Did I miss it? Did it just strike the window but nothing happened? And I did not forgive myself. It's only about 20, 30 years later, I asked myself a question, so why did you do that? If you really believe humans are good, if you believe humans only want to do good and kindness, why would you actually walk to a highway and go in a place where cars and trucks are driving and not only throw down rocks because you want to have fun, but you actually want to hit the windshield? And I remember going into my subconscious, and I realized, because at that time I didn't belong. At that time I did not matter. At that time in my life, I wasn't noticed. At that time in my life, I was just another number or another child. And subconsciously, of course, I didn't know it at that time. I knew, well, now I see it that way. I knew if I would hit a window, if I would get someone scared, if I would break a window, if I would do damage, I know that I did something. I know I had an effect. And sadly, too many times children that do not have an effect in a positive way, the easiest way is to destroy. If it means disrupting a class, if it means hurting a sibling, and in my case, it was hurting strange people that I never knew. I did forgive myself. I did get rid of that shame. I did get rid of that self-bashing, that deep hurt that I always bashed myself, that really you are a bad person, really you wanted to hurt people, and so on and so forth. And at the same time, obviously, it's not that I don't care, but I deeply, from my deep heart, prayed that I never hurt any one of those people. And I asked God to take from my bank account, and He knows how to do it, And if I did do any damage, that those people would find a lottery, would find a way that their business will be increased, and my money from my bank account will just pay for the damage if any damage was done. Heaven forbid if I would still continue bashing myself today at the age of 50 for that event that happened 40 or maybe even more than 40 years ago. It wouldn't be a pretty picture. It would be me dancing again and again in many circles within the mud. We all fall into the mud. We all mistakenly get into the mud. We're all in the same boat. But now you know, to get clean is not to run around into the mud, yell and scream why this happened, but rather with the knowledge that you were intrinsically good, and you go out, you wash out your clothes, wash yourself off, and you find a plan for the mistakes that happen to us, how they should not occur in the future. It is very fine for mistakes to happen, but as long as they don't reoccur 50 times a week, the exact same mistakes. For a person to yell himself and promise himself it doesn't happen anymore does not help. When people always tell me that won't happen again, I say, you're talking to the wrong person. That's the wrong statement to say. And they go, why? I thought that was beautiful. I'm promising it won't happen. I say, what's the strategy? They go, strategy? What do you mean? It's my will. I say, your will was always good. Your will was always precise. Your will was always positive. You're intrinsically good. Sometimes we need a practical strategy of how we are in that situation we were yesterday, the day before, and a month before, and we shouldn't repeat the same mistake. Promising in goodwill is almost as if you have the greatest love to feed a baby, but you don't feed them. If you don't feed them, they will die. We need a strategy or real food to feed a baby, and what we do need is a strategy for us that the mistakes don't occur repeatedly. Have yourself a wonderful and delightful day, and thank you so much for forgiving yourself so you do not need to carry this toxic shame and this horrible emotional, psychological virus within you. And you will notice that you do have wings, and you will notice the inner good within you, and you will notice how you will fly again in your life, and you will seek and you will find and you will indulge in peace and harmony, and into that beautiful positive part within you which can never be shamed, that part within you that is always godly, that part in you that can never get dirty. Because as you know from the analogy, although you looked like you were all muddy, and although you look like your clothes was muddy, but you know after you clean your clothes and after you take a good shower, you look at your body again and there is no dirt. Your skin never became dirty in the first place. Your body has not transformed to dirt and to mud. It was just on the external surface of your skin that made it appear that you are dirty. But you were always so wonderful, clean, pure, spiritual, fine, good, fantastic, amazing, and beyond that words can express. Have yourself an awesome day.